You are not here by coincidence. You have been summoned into this moment by divine appointment, drawn into this very second by heaven's perfect timing. Something in your spirit already knows it. This is not a casual video, not a random scroll, not a passerby moment. This is alignment. This is prophecy meeting you in real time. Anointed One, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural financial shift, a divine wealth transfer that has been forming in the unseen long before your mind ever expected it. The delay you felt was not denial, it was preparation. The stillness you called silence was the exact soil heaven needed to anchor what is about to be released into your life. For it is written in Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, that the vision will come at an appointed time, and though it lingers, it will not delay. And chosen one, that appointed time is now. Feel the atmosphere around you shifting. Feel the spiritual winds turning in your direction. Heaven has not just prepared the blessing, heaven has prepared you for the blessing. Open your spirit, still your thoughts. Something holy is about to be spoken over your destiny. Chosen one, lean in. What I am about to speak into your spirit is not casual, not common, and not meant for those who only listen with their ears. This is revelation for the anointed, those who have walked through seasons that felt tight, narrow, uncomfortable, stretching you in ways you could not explain. Those moments were not signs of abandonment. They were signs of divine marking. Heaven has placed weight on your life, and because of that, your preparation had to be different. Your road could not look like anyone else's, because your calling does not look like anyone else's. Chosen one. The sudden wealth aligning with your life is not accidental. It is not a lucky break, and it is not the result of natural effort alone. This is a supernatural assignment, a divine release that has been waiting for your spirit to be strong enough to carry what your emotions once thought you were ready for, but your character was still being shaped to sustain. I remember walking through seasons where I begged God to accelerate me. I thought I was ready. I thought my heart was mature. But when smaller blessings arrived, I saw the truth inside myself. I saw how quickly impatience surfaced, how subtle pride whispered, and how old wounds tried to influence new decisions. It humbled me. It taught me that God does not delay to punish. He delays to prepare. Anointed. One sudden wealth is not just a blessing, it is a mirror. It reveals what remained silent when life was simple. It exposes motives. It confronts identity. It demands truth. God does not release this kind of increase to impress you. He releases it to inspect you. And here is the miracle heaven has already inspected: your heart. Heaven has found depth where others saw weakness, humility where others saw hesitation, and readiness where even you doubted yourself. You are not entering this season by coincidence. You are entering it because you survived what was designed to break you. You learned to walk with little, so you can now walk wisely with much. You learned how to pray without needing an audience. You learned how to trust God when there was no reassurance, no confirmation, no visible sign that the promise was still alive. That kind of endurance is what makes you trustworthy in heaven's eyes. Chosen one. Sudden wealth does not silence temptation, it amplifies it. It does not erase insecurity, it exposes it. I know this personally. There was a time when I went from barely enough to more than I expected, and instead of feeling free, I felt confronted. The blessing did not remove my inner battles, it revealed them. But that confrontation became healing. It was then I realized abundance is not the finish line. Abundance is the exam. And God in His mercy always prepares His chosen long before the exam arrives. That is why your spirit has felt stretched. That is why you have felt pulled beyond what was comfortable. Heaven has been strengthening your inner world, so your outer world does not collapse under the weight of blessing. God does not want your wealth to outgrow your wisdom. He does not want your influence to expand faster than your integrity. He does not want your elevation to rise higher than your boundaries. Everything He is shaping in you is for your protection, not your limitation. Chosen one. Hear this clearly, you have already passed tests you didn't even know were tests. When you walked away from people who appealed to your weakness but threatened your destiny, that was a test. When you refused opportunities that looked good but felt wrong, that was a test. When you chose healing over hiding purpose, over pride, truth over convenience, that was heaven measuring your maturity. You may not have received applause for those decisions, but heaven recorded everyone, and now what was preparation is becoming release. The shift you feel is not imagination, it is divine alignment. Heaven is opening paths that were previously blocked, not because you were rejected, but because the timing wasn't ripe. There is a moment described in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 where it says, "The vision waits for its appointed time, and though it lingers, it will not delay." Chosen. 1. Your appointed time is no longer approaching. It is touching the edges of your life right now. What is coming to you is not small. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is strategic, heaven-timed and spiritually engineered to rest on you with purpose and destiny. And this is only the beginning of the unfolding. Chosen one. As you step deeper into this divine unfolding, there is a truth most people never recognize until it is too late. Sudden wealth does not merely elevate your lifestyle, it exposes the atmosphere around you. Heaven never releases blessing into a contaminated environment, which is why your life has gone through so many unexpected shifts. You thought people left because something was wrong with you, but heaven was clearing the room before your increase arrived. Before God expands your provision, He expands your perception. Anointed one. I learned this the hard way. There was a season when I held on to certain people simply because they had been in my life for years. I mistook longevity for loyalty. I ignored the subtle signs. I excused the shifts in tone, the weakened support, the quiet resentments. But the moment small opportunities began opening for me, everything changed. Suddenly, the encouragement disappeared, replaced with comparison and distance. That was when God revealed history and covenant are not the same thing. Some people were part of my story, but not part of my destiny. You, chosen one, have walked through similar pruning. What felt like rejection was actually protection. Heaven was insulating you from voices that could not celebrate your rise. People who survived your struggle were not always anointed to stand in your success. The stillness you felt was not emptiness, it was separation. The silence was not abandonment, it was divine insulation. God had to remove every draining spirit, every leaky cup, every jealous heart before He allowed sudden wealth to approach your life. And now you stand in a spiritual clarity most people never reach. You have prayed with fewer voices in the room. You have received direction without relying on applause. You have strengthened your own spirit in moments where others would have collapsed. This is why heaven trusts you with influence. You have shown that breakthrough does not corrupt your character. But chosen one, be aware, as sudden wealth draws near, the enemy becomes strategic. He can no longer block the blessing, so he attempts to corrupt the vessel. He disguises distractions as opportunities, sends alliances that mimic destiny, and wraps compromise in the appearance of acceleration. I remember a moment when an offer came to me, beautiful on paper, promising exposure, income, and influence. In the natural, it made perfect sense, but in the spirit, something felt off. A quiet whisper rose in me saying, "Not this." I obeyed the whisper. Months later, the truth emerged. The opportunity was rooted in control and deception. Had I accepted it, I would have traded my peace for a platform. Chosen one. This is why your inner sensitivity has been increasing. Heaven is sharpening your discernment so that you do not mistake a counterfeit assignment for a divine door. Not every yes benefits your destiny. Not every open door is from God. Heaven will never require you to sacrifice your integrity to climb higher. If it costs your peace, it is too expensive. As you rise, spiritual warfare rises with you, not because you are weak, but because your influence threatens the systems that once benefited from your silence. When God elevates a chosen one, unseen resistance awakens. The pressure you've been feeling is not punishment, it is proof of movement. Resistance is a sign that the enemy has noticed the shift heaven already approved. Sudden wealth exposes more than your atmosphere, it exposes you. It reveals insecurities that were manageable in seasons of lack. It surfaces old wounds that were quiet when responsibilities were small. Even in my life, when God elevated me unexpectedly, I felt something I didn't anticipate: unworthiness. I questioned whether I deserved the blessing, whether it was a mistake, whether it could disappear as quickly as it came. I didn't understand then that the blessing wasn't testing my finances, it was testing my faith. Chosen one. You will face similar moments, not because you're unready, but because wealth calls forth a version of you your past never allowed you to express. The chosen are trained inwardly before they are trusted outwardly. Heaven heals your identity before it expands your influence. God breaks the mindset of scarcity before he multiplies your provision. He dismantles the orphan spirit before he hands you inheritance. Everything you have endured, the abandonment, the silence, the limitation, the confusion, has been shaping the leader, the vessel, the steward who can carry sudden wealth with purity, wisdom, and spiritual clarity. Opportunities no longer intimidate you. Increase no longer distracts you. You are no longer the version of yourself who needed reassurance to rise. You have become someone who recognizes divine timing when you see it. Chosen one, you are stepping into a chapter where wealth is not applause, it is assignment. Not luxury, but legacy. Not status, but stewardship. Heaven is preparing you to handle blessings that ripple into generations. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. As sudden wealth draws closer, you will begin to notice something extraordinary shifting around you. It will not come through dramatic signs alone, but through subtle spiritual nudges, whispers that something in the unseen is rearranging itself on your behalf. People from your past may drift back into your life not because they have healed or transformed, but because they sense movement in your atmosphere. Old connections become curious. Former doubters become observant. Some will show up with soft words, rewritten histories, or sudden interest in your path. But hear me clearly, chosen one. Their return is not a sign of reconciliation. It is a sign of revelation. Sudden wealth exposes motives. Elevation surfaces intentions. Before heaven reveals you publicly, it will reveal others privately. Some will seek re-entry without accountability. Some will pretend the past never existed. Others will attempt to attach themselves to your breakthrough as if they had participated in your process, and you will feel the temptation to prove your growth, to demonstrate who you have become, to show them the version of you they never believed in. But anointed one maturity will require restraint. Wealth gives you options, but wisdom gives you boundaries. Forgiveness is holy, but forgiveness does not guarantee access. Closure does not require conversation. Transformation does not require explanation. The healed version of you is not a reward for those who mishandled the broken version of you. I learned this truth in a painful but powerful way. When God began to elevate my life, someone who once wounded me deeply returned with gentleness in their tone and nostalgia in their words. For a moment, I felt the urge to show them everything God had done to prove that their dismissal did not define me. But the Spirit whispered, "Elevation is silent. Let the blessing speak." And in that moment, I realized something profound. True healing does not call you backward. It calls you forward. Redemption does not require revisiting the wound. It requires honoring the new version of yourself that rose from it. Chosen one, your rise will trigger insecurities in those who once felt superior. Those who were comfortable with your limitations will feel discomfort when faced with your expansion. Some will admire your success, yet resent your elevation. Some will celebrate you publicly, yet envy you privately. Some will clap for your miracle, yet hope it slows down just enough for them to feel comfortable next to you again. Do not misinterpret their tension as your responsibility. You are not called to shrink for anyone's comfort. Sudden wealth brings visibility, influence, and spiritual weight. Heaven is positioning you where your voice will matter, where your decisions will influence lives, and where your stewardship will shape futures. You cannot carry this level of assignment with a heart that needs validation or with boundaries that bend under emotional pressure. Wealth requires clarity. It demands stability. It insists on discernment. And this next phase of your journey will confirm that you are no longer who you used to be. You are stepping into the person heaven has always seen within you, the leader, the giver, the builder, the steward of divine resources. You will begin to recognize how your thoughts shift. Decisions that once felt fearful now feel strategic. Doors that once intimidated you now feel like invitations. Opportunities that once overwhelmed you now feel aligned. Chosen one. This is the evidence of internal elevation. Heaven always promotes the inside of you before it promotes the outside of you. When God sharpens your instincts, it is because He is preparing you to navigate spiritual terrain that your old mindset could not survive. When He deepens your discernment, it is because He knows sudden wealth attracts both divine connections and dangerous counterfeits. When He strengthens your identity, it is because abundance will test whether you stand anchored in purpose or drift into ego. You may not realize it yet, but you have already graduated from seasons that others are still struggling to survive. You have endured silence without collapsing. You have endured disappointment You have endured delays without losing hope. Heaven saw you pray through what others would have quit under. Heaven watched you stay faithful when nothing around you looked promising. Heaven recorded every tear, every surrender, every quiet moment when you chose God's timing over your own. And now sudden wealth is not arriving as a reward for what you have done. It is arriving as confirmation of who you have become. Anointed one, hear this: you are not rising for applause. You are rising for assignment. Wealth is not being placed in your hands simply to elevate your lifestyle. It is being placed in your hands to elevate your purpose. You will use it to build what heaven has shown you. You will use it to break cycles that generations before you could not break. You will use it to open doors for others who have been waiting for someone like you to carry spiritual authority and earthly resources at the same time. chosen one. This is not just prosperity. This is positioning. This is not just increase, this is inheritance. This is not just breakthrough. This is the beginning of legacy, and heaven is only getting started. Chosen one. As you continue walking toward this divine season of sudden wealth, you must understand something sacred and often overlooked. Heaven has been sharpening your discernment, because not everyone who smiles at your elevation is qualified to stand in the atmosphere of your blessing. Sudden wealth is not simply an increase, it is an unveiling. It reveals intentions that were hidden when your life was quiet. It exposes attachments that were unnoticed when your influence was small. But now, as heaven lifts you, the shadows around you shift, and the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Anointed one. When God raises you, He also raises the level of spiritual warfare assigned to your life. This is not because you are fragile, but because your influence is becoming heavier. The weight you now carry draws both light and shadow. I learned this in a season when doors opened for me faster than I could process. Suddenly, people who once overlooked me became interested. Individuals who had no investment in my journey began offering guidance. Those who ignored my voice began demanding access to it. At first, I felt flattered, but the Spirit whispered a phrase I will never forget. Elevation reveals eyesight. It shows you who saw your worth before the world saw your rise. Chosen one, you will experience the same. Some will celebrate you. Others will feel threatened by you. Some will honor your growth. Others will resent your progress. Some will applaud your elevation. Others will quietly wonder why heaven chose you instead of them. Their reactions are not reflections of your character, but reflections of their own spiritual condition. Your breakthrough becomes a mirror, revealing what they tried to keep buried: jealousy, insecurity, comparison, doubt. This is why heaven often isolates the chosen before He elevates them, not as punishment, but as protection. God removes unnecessary attachments, distractions, and spiritual parasites that would have drained your blessing before it even matured. In my own journey, I mourned relationships I thought would last forever. I could not understand why people distanced themselves, why conversations shifted, or why connections grew cold. But when the blessing finally arrived, I realized heaven had spared me from battles I was not meant to fight. Some people loved my humility, but they would have despised my abundance. Some supported my struggle, but they could not celebrate my success. Others admired my potential, but they would have been threatened by my manifestation. Chosen one. This same divine pruning has taken place in your life. Some exits broke your heart, but they protected your destiny. Some separations felt cruel, but they cleared the spiritual space needed for your increase. Some losses felt unfair, but they were actually acts of mercy disguised as disappointment. Heaven has been removing those who cannot breathe in the rarefied atmosphere of your elevation. But with sudden wealth also comes a new level of self-awareness. Blessings have a way of revealing parts of you that were quiet in seasons of lack. When increase approaches, questions begin to rise within you. Do I truly deserve this? Am I prepared? Will I manage this blessing well? These questions are not signs of weakness. They are indicators of transformation. They show that your identity is expanding to match the size of your assignment. I remember the first time God blessed me beyond what I could comprehend. Instead of pure joy, I felt tension, a pull between who I had been and who I was becoming. A part of me felt excited. Another part felt unworthy. I almost stepped backward, not because the blessing was too big, but because my mindset was too small. It took time for me to understand this truth. Heaven was not giving me something I had not earned. Heaven was revealing the version of me that had been prepared in secret. Chosen one, you may be feeling that same internal shift. The increase approaching your life is not calling the old you, it is calling the refined you, the matured you, the awakened you. You are not stepping into wealth as a visitor. You are stepping into it as someone heaven has forged through adversity, refined through solitude, strengthened through prayer, and aligned through obedience. This next level requires emotional stability. It requires spiritual grounding. It requires the courage to make decisions others will not understand. You will begin to notice that your priorities shift. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. Environments that once felt familiar now feel spiritually heavy. You are not losing interest, you are gaining clarity. This clarity is the evidence that wealth is not just coming to you, it is forming within you. Chosen one, heaven is preparing you for influence, for responsibility, and for legacy. You are being positioned to steward resources that carry generational impact. What is coming to you is not temporary abundance. It is spiritual authorization, a mantle that signifies heaven trusts you to carry what others mishandled. This is not an ordinary rise. This is a divine emergence, and heaven is nowhere near finished with you. Chosen one. As you journey deeper into this season of divine elevation, there is a truth you must anchor into your spirit. Sudden wealth will not simply transform your circumstances, it will transform the way spiritual forces respond to you. When God increases you, He increases the level of eyes watching you. Some eyes are divine, assigned to bless, cover, and guide you, but others are predatory, sent to observe, mimic, and manipulate. This shift is not meant to intimidate you, it is meant to prepare you. Heaven does not elevate blindly. Heaven elevates strategically. Anointed one. This is why you have sensed changes in your atmosphere long before any financial breakthrough appeared in the natural. People who were once warm suddenly grew distant. Others who always checked on you became silent. Some who once encouraged you began criticizing you subtly or withdrawing without explanation. These shifts are not coincidences. They are spiritual indicators. Heaven has been removing wrong eyes from your field of vision so that you can rise without becoming prey. There was a season in my life when I questioned these changes deeply. Friends grew cold, supporters disappeared, relationships loosened without conflict or cause. At first I took it personally. I wondered if I had done something wrong. But the more I sought God, the more He revealed the truth. Some people had been silently studying me, assessing the timing of my breakthrough. They were waiting not to celebrate, but to take advantage. Their presence would have created spiritual leakage in a season meant for overflow. The separation was not rejection. It was insulation. Chosen one, you are experiencing this same divine insulation. Some individuals cannot be in the room when God unveils what He has built inside you. Some cannot handle the weight of your calling. Some cannot honor the truth about what you carry. The humble version of you never threatened them, but the elevated version of you exposes the insecurities they tried to bury. This is why God is removing people before He releases provision. Your destiny cannot be entrusted to hands that tremble with envy. Your wealth cannot flourish in atmospheres polluted by jealousy. Your spirit cannot rise while entangled with those committed to staying spiritually stagnant. But heaven is not only removing the wrong people, heaven is revealing the right ones. There are individuals who have been observing you silently but with pure motives. People of influence who value integrity more than image. People drawn not to your noise but to your consistency. People who see your humility, your endurance, your faithfulness, and recognize heaven's fingerprint on you. These are the financial gatekeepers, divine connections, who can open doors that money alone cannot unlock. In my own journey, I learned that true elevation attracts quiet observers long before it attracts public applause. Influential people watch how you handle disappointment. They watch how you treat those who can give you nothing. They watch how you navigate seasons of lack without compromising your character. And when they see spiritual maturity wrapped in humility, wrapped in discipline, wrapped in purpose, they recognize someone heaven can trust. Chosen one. Heaven has whispered your name into circles you've not yet entered. Your character has spoken louder than your circumstances. Your obedience has traveled further than your voice. And there are people divinely assigned, spiritually aligned, who are simply waiting for heaven's signal to bless you. When the timing is right, the door will open suddenly and unmistakably. You will know it was not strategy, it was not networking, it was not luck, it was orchestration. But with divine orchestration comes another layer of spiritual pressure. Sudden wealth will trigger individuals who once believed you would always remain beneath them. Those who considered themselves more qualified, more deserving, more positioned, will feel shaken when heaven elevates you beyond their expectations. They may question your motives. They may gossip to minimize your rise. They may misinterpret your humility as weakness or your success as arrogance. But chosen one, do not be distracted. Do not fight for validation from people who refuse to value you when you had nothing. Your rise is not a threat. Your rise is a prophecy being fulfilled. As wealth approaches, isolation will intensify, not because you are becoming distant, but because God is narrowing your circle for precision. You will feel certain conversations becoming draining. You will sense heaviness in rooms that once felt normal. You will discern spiritual misalignment in people you once trusted. This is because you are stepping into a frequency not everyone can survive. Wealth changes your environment because it changes your assignment. Chosen one, you cannot pour into everything anymore. You cannot be everywhere anymore. You cannot make yourself available to voices that do not honor your purpose. This next level requires boundaries, discernment, and spiritual clarity. You are being shaped into someone who carries influence with sobriety, authority, and reverence. Heaven is preparing you to walk into rooms where destiny is decided, where resources flow like rivers, and where your presence carries divine weight. You are not rising to fit in, you are rising to fulfill. You are not being elevated to be seen, you are being elevated to be strategic. You are not becoming prosperous for applause, you are becoming prosperous for assignment. Chosen one, heaven is preparing you for impact at a level you have not yet imagined.